Ravers are not drug addicts. Ravers are not all 12-year-olds. Ravers are not gun-handling misfits. Ravers are dancers. Ravers are musicians. Ravers are artists. Ravers are professionals. Ravers are businessmen and women. Ravers are scholars. Ravers are voters. Ravers are people just like you. The rave scene was founded on one principle: plur, peace, love, unity, and respect. That's why the rave scene started and continues to flourish. The rave scene does not discriminate against age, race, gender, sexual preference, or personal style. Bring whoever you are to this scene, and you will be accepted. There are no weapons in the rave scene, no matter what misinformed police chiefs with a political agenda may have you believe. Are ravers living a utopia? No, of course not. There are problems, just like there are problems in all schools, organizations, communities, and families. The difference is that the rave scene is making a concerted effort to preserve and protect its family. The rave scene gets a lot of flack because there's drug use within it. Well, raves are not the only place where drugs are used. Drugs have been around for many years. Does anyone remember Prohibition? Reefer madness? The rave scene is not responsible for youth drug use and is being scapegoated because of ignorance. Here's a newspaper headline you'll never read. Drugs will continue to be used if raves are banned. That's right. We are a drug-using culture, and they are used in concerts, bars, clubs, parks, schools, homes. Is the next step to start regulating clubs too? How about regulating homes? Drugs in general are a problem. We will be the first to admit that. But how is the rave scene responding to the use of drugs within it? Ravers are internally regulating their scene because they know that there are problems within any community and have started organizations to protect their members, like the Toronto Raver Information Project and the Toronto Dance Safety Committee. The Toronto Raver Information Project is a by ravers for ravers organization which practices harm reduction, a philosophy which doesn't condone or condemn, substituting judgment for safety. Do concerts set up booths to promote drug and alcohol safety practices? Do bars? Is it time to regulate them too? The rave scene is not going to go away and will continue to exist even if raves and city-owned venues are banned. And if you over-regulate raves, there'll be more unsafe underground ones. Over-regulation equals ban. Alan Ho died in an unsafe rave. No one wants this to happen again. When you make your decision concerning rave protocol, please ask yourself one question. If it was your child partying at 3 in the morning, would you want them to be at a safe rave or at an underground one?
My name is Kim Stanford, and I'm a registered nurse that's been working with the rave communities in Toronto for 5 years now. Most recently, I've been working as chair of the Toronto Dance Safety Committee. And this committee was formed a year ago in August 1999. It was an idea that was generated from within the rave community. And folks were wanting, after the first rave-related tragedy in Toronto, folks in the rave community were really wanting to, in an organized way, start to work with people at public health and in other community organizations and whatnot to, try and avoid another such tragedy. People in the rave community took it very seriously and, have always worked really hard to promote health and safety within the community. It's one thing that I've been very impressed about in the 5 years that I've worked. Be hopeful that the City of Toronto will lift the ban on public venues, will support safe raves, both overtly, but also in effect. The coroner's jury that touched upon the death of Alan Ho last spring has some very positive recommendations for promoting safe raves, and they specifically asked the City of Toronto to lift the ban on public venues. And they also specifically commented that over-regulation of raves or requirements upon rave organizers that are unreasonable and unfeasible would not be promoting safe raves. That over-regulation would be the same thing as banning. It would be banning in effect. So I'm hopeful that the Corps' jury, when they had evidence presented to them from all sides, came out with some very positive recommendations. I'm hoping that Toronto City Council will do the same and will lift the ban and will support reasonable and fair licensing of raves in Toronto.
TRIP is a community-based health promotion and harm reduction program that does safer drug use and safer sex education and information sharing within the Toronto rave community. What I saw years ago was a reluctance for people to call ambulance because they were afraid that police would come as well and shut the party down. And that goes from everyone from individual people partying to security to promoters, all of them reluctant to call an ambulance if one were needed. And then we get into venues that aren't as safe, don't have adequate ventilation and running water, enough exits. So we saw that years ago, and the difference now would be that there are tens of thousands of more young people involved, and that would mean greater risks for a greater number of young people in Toronto.